Check, check, check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mic check. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Corey, who we got first?
Great question. I actually do not have that answer. All right. I just get the start time.
Anybody remember who Andrew said?
Isaiah, Harris English, Sean Kelly.
Isaiah Kelly coming up now?
That's what was on the that's what was on the email.
Oh. Isaiah becoming a regular. He's not having any classes at this time. Damn it. Thanks, buddy. Who else coming in with it?
I don't believe so. I think it's just him.
Cool. Who is it? Philip Dukes? That's right. Seems like he's been here for 8 years.
I don't know much, Corey, about yourself.
Still living.
All right.
I'll take it.
You on the plus side.
Yes, sir.
P. Dukes. Oh, okay. That's what it is. It's rotated through different locations. It's gone to New York, Atlanta, Chicago, and Indy. And this is Chicago this year, New York next year. But, and Duke's got to play Kansas again next year. That's right, because Duke beat Kentucky in Atlanta.
Coach K don't play.
Damn right.
If you don't believe it, ask his wife.
Already got a hotel.
Browns are going with Johnny Football for the rest of the season.
Right.
Hosting city his entire country.
Dude,
I don't
love
talk
it.
about it.
One of my favorite towns in the world.
Mine is Pelzer. I love me some Pelzer. That's my favorite town in the world.
What's that?
It's an understated.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Pelzer is a nice place.
Yes, sir. I spent 10 years there one evening.
Probably a wise idea not to drive too fast.
Pelzer. No. They let you go as fast as you want to.
Yeah, just ignore the blue lights behind
Yeah,
you.
just keep going. Keep driving till you hit Greenwood.
Basically,
You'll
it's
be
like
okay.
every mile that you go, that's just your insurance going up.
It's really good to see how it's so long.
No, man. You got your interview with Sean right after this, or
Amazingly, that doesn't.
is Tom Herman already moved in?
He's already moved in.
According to
That's what
everything
Pop-
I've
that's what
read.
Pop- That's what Pops told me. I don't know.
That's right, it was announced yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then what did he say? Oh, I meant to say that, negotiations.
Negotiations. That's a little
Negotiations
different
to
then.
have-
That's a little different
No,
than
no,
announcement.
that's what's negotiations to have negotiations.
Oh.
So, yeah. Trace is a little different.
What I think it is it's being a note sent from Tanner to Herman that says, do you like me? Check yes or no.
Yeah.
Hand it back during recess.
Yeah. George Strait sent him a song.
Joe, can you run the one mic until Dalton gets there? Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. We get started with our South Carolina defensive tackle, Philip Dukes. So questions, please raise your hand for the mic. David.
Philip, you guys know the Citadel's going to run the ball. They're very effective at running the ball. As a defensive lineman, how do you guys have to stop that?
It's assignment football. Just got to listen to the coaches, focus, and do our job. And be assignment.
Back to the left.
Have you guys watched any film on them yet? And if you have, are they going to leave defensive tackles like you unblocked sometimes, or is that not really their game?
Yeah, but we just got to focus on doing our job, basically. We got to learn how to take the dive, and I just got to focus on taking the dive, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just doing my job.
David.
Philip, refresh my memory. Have you played one of these triple option running teams before while you've been here?
No, sir. I think the last time we played the triple option when we played Wofford, but I wasn't.
Just watching a team like that on TV, just how effective or how impressed are you that they're so effective at doing what they do? I mean, running the ball, you know it's coming, and people still can't stop it.
It was very intense. Just looking at them guys just doing their job. It was assignment, getting turnovers and creating and making plays.
To the left, Brian.
Does it make it a little easier, though, to get more zoned in, knowing what they're going to do and exactly how they're going to do it? You just got to, as you said, focus on assignments?
Yes, sir. Just got to execute what the coach calling. So I take my time and focus and learn what I got to do.
David.
Phillips, Sky has a chance to go over 100 tackles for the season in this game, which is something that hasn't happened around here in almost a decade. Is that a benchmark that defensive players shoot for? Is 100 tackles like 1,000 yards for a running back? Does that number mean anything to a defensive player?
Yes, sir. You can say it. Sky is a great guy. He focus and work hard, and that's what he want. He want 100 tackles. So.
And do the linebackers in this system, I mean, the linebackers get most of the tackle numbers. They've gotten most of the interceptions. In this scheme, is it just set up for them to do that?
I don't know. I kind of know, like, once we get more into the week, we just focus on doing the plays that they think going to happen in the game this week.
Philip, what's been the problem with you guys generating a pass rush?
We just wasn't getting there, and guess we wasn't kind of focused, but we focusing in now, so we're just ready to play.
I mean, was it more guys just not getting off blocks? Was it not rushing enough?
It was a combo of both of them things. I just guess guys just didn't believe, but now we believe, so.
How daunting is it to look forward to a game against a team that's going to cut block you as much as Citadel is?
It's hard. It's hard, but I just got to get used to it, you know. Coaches were working yesterday on cut blocks, so that's what I got to get used to.
Brian.
You mentioned that you haven't faced it here, but did you ever go against a triple option in high school at least?
Not that I can remember.
Back to the back, Ben.
Do you feel like this defensive line has made sort of progress in terms of being able to disrupt, cause a little more havoc in the past few weeks? And do you feel like there's any particular cause for that?
No, we just one big group, like a family. Those are my brothers, and we all get along, have fun, joke sometimes. But when it's time to work, we work. We come together as one.
Anything else for Philip? Thank you, Philip.
You're welcome.
To 2006. Been like 9 years.
Yeah, he got a strip sack of Tom Brady the other night.
He's got a chance to have those tackles since John Jones
school, don't you? Wrong. Again, we've discussed this. It's not even the same state. Look at a map. There's a big river in between.
And he hasn't been back since he went to.
It's kind of weird that JJ actually had that. He only played 15 games here.
Yes.
Because he busted his foot in 1 year in the third game. Tell you what though, JJ Cole, that was a hell of a defensive backfield right there.
You know, I know this. Did they change how tackles were accumulated as a statistic? Because you look back on the record books, and there are guys getting 170 and 180, and then
Yeah.
there's a line where all of a
I
sudden
think
it's
it-
105, 107.
I think it was because, you know, you have assistant tackle. Pretty much if anybody was in on a tackle, they all got credit for a tackle.
Yeah.
It wasn't just half of one.
Yeah.
I think, but I'm not positive.
Was it not like an official statistic until a certain point?
I'm not sure.
And then it got-
Steve,
got
do you know that?
All I know, all I know is.
David had a
We're-
question
we're-
about accounting of tackle.
Did they
count.
change how tackles were handled as a statistic at some point? Because you look back at the record books, and sometimes you get like 180, 175, and then there's like a line, and all of a sudden it's like 107, 108, 98, that kind of thing. Just to know if it was
I
standardized
wondered
in some way.
some of those numbers too.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yes.
I mean, you know, sacks weren't even kept until like
Yeah,
90.
somewhere.
Yes, it didn't start till maybe 90 or something like that.
Yeah, 'cause
The way I was always taught was it's kind of like an assist where, you know, a lot of people used to give up a bunch of it, and there was, you know.
Yeah, there was one point where if you were in the area, you got credit.
Yeah.
for the tackle.
So everybody got one full tackle instead of just being the guy that actually hit
Through
it.
that formation teams, everyone ran
It's like
right
you said,
out.
the guy that used
So
to
you
score
had
for us
more-
at Preston,
everything
he
was
said,
tighter back
used to
in
do
the
it
day.
where everybody got a tackle if you were like around, and I was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Let's
It's kinda
not do
frustrating
that.
that
If you were on the
Did it
defensive
by
line,
books.
you got a tackle.
You know, because the guys that did it by the books, and their guys got like 60 tackles, and see some other teams, that, you know, the guys that might not even be as good with like 180 tackles.
It's like the story I was telling about you when Benedict left the nation and stolen bases, because they were giving wild pitches
Really
and
tough,
stolen
in a very
bases.
small area.
What was it?
Nowadays you can't do that, because there's athletes everywhere. But, you know, you can win the Big Ten just.
Dave, have you looked up how close he is to, I mean, you would have to play another year, but how close he is to J.D. Fuller's tackle record?
I don't know if I've done that yet, no. I was looking at the single season stuff.
J.D. had over 400. I'm not sure how many, but he's the leading guy. I'm sure Sky would have a shot at it if he came back. And also the interception record, he's like 3
That, yeah, that I'm aware of.
Yeah, Willie, you actually told me that. Bo Davies, the guy who's got the record, is it his granddaughter? Is Landon Powell's wife?
It's his dog.
Daughter.
Is his daughter, okay.
Yeah. She, in fact, she's
She's
on air at Channel 4 now. She just got promoted.
Yeah, 'cause she was like the traffic reporter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
She's now a morning person.
If you
though.
guys
Yeah,
get a
she
chance
was,
to
yeah.
drop Chris Clark a line today, they had their second baby last night.
Oh,
11:30. Another girl.
Well, he don't have no say in that household.
It's got 3 girls now, including the wife. Yeah, I said, yeah, she was born at 11:26. By 11:30, she was on the phone with that 4-star from Decatur. Chip off the old block.
Yeah, the NCAA at one point changed the way defensive statistics were kept.
Derek Thomas's sack record, was that right when sacks started being kept, or was that right before it? I know, the number's always been like 27, I just didn't know if it was an
In the
official
NCAA?
statistic. Huh?
In the NCAA?
Yeah, he had 27 in one season.
Beforehand, defensive statistics were tallied by team coaches via film review
Ooh.
days after the game.
Oh.
Yeah, that would change it, wouldn't it?
And now they're recorded live in the press box looking at it.
Can you imagine, like, say it was a jumbo set on the goal line and like 8 people got in, every one of them got a tackle credited?
That's what they did.
Hey.
That's why I use the assist analogy, because, you know, some places do still say, well, if you pass it to him, you get an assist, right?
Not really.
Not if he takes on the team by himself. The NBA, you do get assist, you do get an assist for that.
Well, in the NBA, you get a little bit of everything. Derek Thomas for a single season?
I think they might have been officially recognized after he was gone.
That's what I was thinking, because I don't think it was actually officially recorded. It happened, they started recording him right after he went pro.
Yeah, I can see that.
Did Miami help him get it?
Actually, looking at these numbers, I think they might have only started recording them at like 99 or 2000.
Wow.
Really? That or no one top 15 until 2001, 2000 I should say.
DC, is there any good basketball on tonight?
Nah. It's gonna be a hell of a doubleheader, man. I mean, it really is gonna be a good one.
Since I know you care, US Soccer plays too.
Dude, it's basketball season. Don't bring up that stuff. Come on.
There's actually a lot of good stuff on tonight.
Actually, I gotta check the schedule for men's and women's. See what's
Sounds
going
like
on.
Brad Underwood's team's too good this year.
He lost all his talent, but yeah, they got popped by Baylor by like 40.
Yeah, they were losing. They were losing.
I think they lost by 19 last night.
Yeah, they lost there,
But, you know, it happens.
Harder coach Nagadish.
It's Tuesday. Come on. Okay, Alabama against Dayton. That'd be a pretty good game. Colorado and Auburn. Missouri and Xavier. Yeah. That's at Xavier. Why did he agree to that? We've got some afternoon games today.
This game's going on.
They're going all day, yeah.
24 hours of hoops.
Oh, that is today. Okay, yeah. So Alabama's got the 1 o'clock game.
I had to forcibly turn myself
Did you
turn
watch?
off Long Beach State and BYU last night.
Did you watch Oregon Baylor?
Man,
I couldn't even watch it.
That was hard. That was visually.
It was a good game, but visually you just wanted to gouge your eyes out.
Those highlighter uniforms on that Jackson.
It was on Oregon's court, and they were both wearing highlighter
Yeah,
uniforms.
that court of theirs is pretty ridiculous with the trees and everything.
But when you got Baylor there too, and they're wearing highlighter uniforms as well.
Let us all take a moment to remember the ETSU beat writer who had to get to work for a 6 a.m. tip-off today.
Hard lesson for Brad Underwood, you just don't put him in Cedar Falls at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's right, buddy. You better recognize. That's tough. I saw somebody put out there, it was like, you know, he was 68 and 8 his first 2 years, but his last 2 games he's been blown out each time. It's like, well, you lose all your talent. Got to start luring talent to, where is it, Nacogdoches, Texas?
Nagadish.
Nacogdoches.
Okay, no women's games today.
If somebody has been there, it's like they got a Walmart. It's basically
Well, of course they have a Walmart.
My
If they have a McDonald's, then you know
Yeah, they
they're
do
not.
have a McDonald's. My cousin went to school there. It's nothing.
Is it near, I mean, like near Houston?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours from Houston.
Okay, so it's kind of near the coast?
Yeah, it's kind of near. Actually, it's going the other way, more towards Hill Country.
Brian, do you know Terry Brinkman?
Yeah.
She always tells, because you know she graduated from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
She always tells a story about when she was in school, like the biggest thing that happened for like weeks was when they put a Hardee's up, there were lines like
Yeah.
miles long in both directions.
Well, I mean, I'm making my joke for somebody that went to school in Tigerville, but I mean, you know, it's a. But Nacogdoches is like, you don't have anything for like an hour, hour and a half, but like, you know, he
told me to watch out for the devil worshippers.
Yeah. You mean the Clemson fans?
On,
Okay, J.D. Fuller's got 405 career tackles to lead. So Moore has how many?
He's got 95 this year.
Okay, I'm looking up his career.
he's gotta be, I'm gonna guess, without looking, I'm gonna
He
guess.
has 149 coming into this year. So that's 40.
Mic check. Mic check for Tom at ESPN. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check for Tom.
79, 81, 83.
Yeah, he's back and the coaches kept statistics, so it's all real.
I just emailed Cockfield. Andy's out of town. Brad said he'd do it.
Yeah, it'll be Brad and you, ESPN 3, so Soup.
Soup?
Yep.
Yeah. Gotta look this
Can't
on
wait.
there, baby.
Can't wait.
Better get that wrinkle release.
I was about to say, I better get one of the dry cleaners a little bit.
Don't let, hey, don't let Matlock watch, do you, sure?
Yeah, I won't let my.
No.
He's gotta get 150.
Yeah. I mean, that's back in that era when the coaches rigged it, so.
JD was a bad boy, though.
I'm telling you, man.
He was a bad
Mic checking for David this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Badass Fu Manchu must-
Is it unmuted? I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You gotta sit back and mumble.
Well, you forgot.
Like that middle linebacker style. He actually got another year because he tore his knee up.
Oh, what time is it?
Still
amazed his brother got any time at all in that, well.
I did.
Last couple of years, at least on the practice squad. Casper
Jasper and Casper.
Taller player than Jack. Don't know why. Well, Jasper's still in the NFL. He's with the Giants.
I know him. I feel like I've heard of Casper. I'm just like, there's a reason I can't.
He's a friendly ghost.
He was on the practice squad for the Panthers for a couple of years. Didn't even.
Got paid.
Yeah. It's the thing, man. People are always saying, "Oh, well, practice squad." I'm like, you know how much you guys make? It's a damn good living.
Yeah.
It's like, who was it?
I think a year's salary is like maybe 111,
Yeah.
and that's just for the regular 16 weeks. So Demir Bird, who it looks like he'll make the Panthers, he keeps getting paid as long as they're alive in the playoffs. So
Still cash.
Yeah, and then you get a like Connor got, like when he made the squad for one game,
Yeah.
he got a 16th of what a game.
you get, it's like Spencer Lanning, you know, he's cut before the season, but he got signed by the Bears for 1 week.
Yeah.
Went up and played. He made like 48,000 just
Yeah, that's
off
what
one
Connor.
They're gonna renegotiate
Connor
his
said.
contract. They
Connor
got
said
it.
he made close to like 160 with it all together.
Yeah, I mean, if you get added to the active roster, you automatically get
Yeah.
put on the pay bump. So,
They have to pay you.
I mean, it sucked for him because he still wants to be in the league. It's like, come on up to Chicago, actually played in the game. Here's your check, but we're cutting you. Like, well, okay. And so he's getting married in March, so I know he can use the cash.
That's why Kelsey Carls will go from like 3 or 4 teams a year just because you're not gonna get paid.
Yeah, he tried out for a couple of teams, but he's not on a practice squad.
Not this year,
Okay.
but he keeps
He's
trying.
been trying out, but I don't.
I mean, he played for 3 different teams last year and played. I mean, he had a sack for the goals.
Yeah.
Was it you that said John Pierre? They re-signed,
Yeah.
Seattle re-signed John
He
Pierre?
got picked up like in week 6, so he's played like 3 games. It was weird, man, because I mean he was their starting center, and they cut him right before the season.
He's hands on.
But he got picked back up, and now he's on active roster.
I tell you, man, Jamal's made a good living doing that.
Dude.
He always finds a team.
Yeah, he's with
Now,
the
he
Titans
started
now.
with the Titans this year, so he's been with them throughout, but like, cause like last year, I started them, I said, yeah, talking about Hillcrest, you know, winning the state championship, I said, yeah, I said, too bad you couldn't say it, you know, Travell was there, he said, oh, I was there, he said, I got cut the week before, and picked up the week after, he said, I was there.
It's the thing, man, it's crazy how you can still, especially kickers, I mean, you still keep getting picked up.
And just think how much shock to be playing this year with the quarterback Quagmire they have.
Crazy.
He wasn't hurt.
He would've definitely got some
Absolutely.
He'd get a shot at least.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be on the active roster.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to believe he would be.
But the cool thing about this year is since they kept him on roster, he got practice squad money, so he gets paid for the whole year.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing that they actually didn't have to do, that they're paying it through the end of the year. Just, you know, with the NFL, man, it's never a guaranteed contract.
Hey, man.
That was cool. Yeah, that's why it was so cool. He's getting, like you said, the
Yeah,
115, whatever.
He
it
gets
is.
the whole year.
Need that paycheck, that ain't no cheap condo he bought.
Especially, yeah, like you said, with that condo he's living at.
Especially with
not a
wife and
cheap
baby
condo.
too. I mean,
Connor's one of those guys that'll probably make more after he finishes playing.
Well,
Anyway.
all he's got to do is go around here through those camps.
That's
He
what I'm
has
saying.
that-
That's what I'm
hey,
saying.
I told you, man, that one camp, and they had like his people, like, had all these football. I said, they pull all this stuff out there, that shit goes, that shit was selling like wildfire.
And those
They
are
ain't everything
expensive.
left by the end of the day.
And all,
I
and
mean,
all
they
the
made
draft clown
he's making a
jerseys
mint on that
was
stuff.
like $175 people were snapping it up.
Yep.
See, they be buying like picture.
It's a thing, man. I mean, Marcus goes around and has his foundation and all, but a lot of that autograph stuff, they make some serious bank on it.
He was good, man.
Many long.
It was the best interview.
He spells out exactly
Must be crazy.
how to defense the triple option.
He went on a long range. about
He's like, well, here's what John's telling us to do, and here's what we're not doing.
I don't know that we've ever had Philip Dukes at a press conference.
I can't think of one. It seemed like he's been here 8 years. Didn't he come out of Manning with John Fulton? Was that, they were both Manning at the same time.
I remember, man, he was considered a big time get at the time.
Yeah, I mean, and Fulton, of course, went to Alabama, he didn't even play till he was a senior, but he got a ring, so. I remember, because actually I had to go to Manning, that's not an easy trip.
Corey's kid playing for Alabama. Corey's kid playing for Alabama.
Yeah, he's getting to play on special. He gets in like garbage time, but he's a starter on special.
But you just, that's.
What's he, a
the way it
redshirt
is,
freshman?
Alabama.
Yeah, redshirt.
Kids sign because they know you're gonna be redshirted and you're probably not even gonna play till you're a junior.
Well, they told him they weren't gonna play till junior,
Yeah.
but that he gets special teams starter for both years.
Unless you are a Julio Jones or somebody like that.
Well, the defense is somewhere. I mean, Saban has it so locked down on defense. Like, unless you're a leader, you're not getting to play till you're a junior.
Honestly, with that, I mean, Christian, I thought was a really good player, but I think they wanted him to play end here. So,
Yeah, no, he didn't. They like the hybrid. Corey likes the hybrid. He likes it too.
it's Alabama, you know. It's like, some of the Clemson folks were talking, saying, oh, I don't think Dabo would ever leave even if Alabama calls him. That's the
Crazy.
job he'd leave for.
Whoever's pretty good.
And he should.
And he will.
Got to.
He's the next coach. Right. I would say that would be who they're
The only thing I could see is I could see him wait, let somebody else go there.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough act to follow.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I
It's
can
better
see
to be
that. I
the
can see
second
that.
guy. 'cause he
It's
can
it's
sit-
always gonna be tough at Alabama.
And he can sit at Clemson for a few more years and let whatever happens that
That's a
next
great
guy
point.
happen.
That is a
And
good
then-
point.
And then come in, because he's, he can, if you rebuild it, you look a lot better than if you end up going from, even if you end up going from Saban level to Rick level.
Think about that waiting thing.
It's just hard to when mama calls.
You always take a
Yeah, but
chance.
and your point is very valid.
You know, Saban's gonna go to the cold, Saban's gonna go to the tight somewhere.
That's what he wants. You just hit the nail on the head of why Roy Williams waited so he could be like, all right, see, I am the savior of the day.
But the thing is, Dorney recruited that championship team. That was all his kids.
Oh, I'm not knocking that. It's the same thing with Malzahn. Sometimes the new leaders.
Don't get me wrong, I know they lost, but it was because they had, like Julius Peppers was a football player.
Yeah.
So he wasn't gonna play basketball. And the thing is, like, he had those recruits. The main thing they got is like, well, some of the players are complaining. And I'm like, who's running the team? I think that the thing that really pissed them off was they brought Doherty back into the Carolina family, and then he immediately fired like Phil Ford.
Well,
And,
That pissed Dean off, and if you got him mad, then you were done
yeah,
anyway.
he cut Dean's secretary loose too.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Because he brought in his whole staff from Notre Dame.
Yeah, because if you're gonna piss influential people off, you gotta win.
And it worked that first year,
Yeah.
just after that, I was like, okay. Remember that team, they had won like 8 games?
Yeah.
I went and watched them play. I was like, It was actually funny, they were playing Florida State at the time, and Florida State had that dude, Big Jelly Dixon. You
Yeah,
know,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So of course,
I've seen plenty of Florida State basketball in my time,
my
unfortunately.
mom was a season ticket holder, he wasn't going outside.
Yeah.
Done his team. So me and my best friend, we were still students at the time. We both wore Garnet, Carolina shirts. We're sitting up in there in the middle of all that blue. And the guy sat down right in front of me, did a double take. I'm sure he was like, what are you doing here? And I said, well, no, he said, well, that's wrong, Carolina. And I said, no, my team's actually going to a postseason tournament. Him and my best friend standing there, tapped him on the shoulder, turned around, she says, South Carolina, what are you doing here? My buddy without breaking his straw says, minding my fucking business. I was like. We were both not as angry with those Tar Heel first switch. And then he ended up marrying one.
But that seems one of those untold stories that amazes me. If it wasn't for Coach K and Duke, the world would hate Carolina fans. But Coach K and Duke has done such a favor because Carolina fans basketball fans are really awful. You know, but because, you know, Coach K takes all that heat away from them.
Yeah, I mean, and he started doing it when he first came in. They were, you know, giving him shit, and he was like, I thought it was they started than basketball, not me.
Well, but yeah, I mean, there's some fans that they're just grating, but they don't get the reputation because everybody focuses all that anger at Coach K.
Sure. And it's always just like, oh, yeah, well, there's stuff he's doing that hasn't gone before, and I'm like,
I vaguely know how this would
well,
work,
well, don't get caught.
like the jankier version of this camera.
Well,
Don't get me wrong, I love the guy. Shady shit, Corey McGinty, come on now. The whole thing last year with Suleiman.
Yeah, if you've sat anywhere near
Saying William Avery
you
on
hear
the
horrible
bubble.
things. You hear strings of things that you've never heard together. That's his wife,
Yeah.
much less him. I mean, you know.
In '92, you know, number one team, all these stars that just won a championship. I was like, I don't know, 13, and my granddad got me tickets for the ACC tournament championships in Charlotte, Duke versus Carolina. I'm like, no thrill,
Yeah.
wearing my Duke sweatshirt and my hat, and they got right in there behind the bench during the timeout. Keep in mind, this is Leitner and Hurley.
Yeah,
You know, they were getting blown off the floor in the first 5 minutes. Timeout. They all sat down. And I'm standing right behind them.
Actually, I put a laptop.
Damn, don't make him mad. The next year we went, my granddad almost got to fight with their mom.
I figured as soon as I get back in, I'll take Jay.
It was a highlight.
We have that laptop.
It's one thing Kentucky fans get on now for, like, well, he should admit that he dyes his hair. I'm like, is this really a problem?
College basketball is just a shady.
Of course it is. Dude's like the AAU team and the shoot games. People are saying today, man, Bam had Abadayo's been an NC State commit for 2 years. How Kentucky flip him? Like, no.
He was their academic
NC
further.
State's in the biggest school. Nike, you don't say. And plus, the kid wants to be in the NBA. So it will be.
Yeah.
Kentucky's a Nike school. What's his AAU team? Remember when, I mean, Tony Barbie, she's an awful person. So, but when he got fired at Auburn, all the Auburn players were like, well, what do you expect? We're never gonna win day tonight from our school. There's something to that, but I don't think it's that deep.
Yeah.
I remember last year they actually put out the NCAA bracket and every school was represented by the shoe game. There was like 2 Under Armour.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Sorry about that. We'll continue with South Carolina safety Isaiah Johnson. So questions, please raise your hands. David.
Isaiah, you're usually kind of the last line of defense back there. How does your role change playing a traditional running team?
Yeah, my role is going to change a lot this week. I'm focused on mainly just kind of the quarterback and which way he fronts out. And that's like 99% of the time, that's where the ball is going. So my role's changing a lot.
Isaiah, anything, I mean, with this triple option, have you seen it before, either in college or in high school, or is this the first time you'll be seeing it?
Yeah, we played it actually in high school. My high school team, Fuquay Arena, ran it. It was probably my junior year and my senior years when I really played defense. So I only seen it for like 2 years, but I never seen it in my college career. So
To the left, Ben.
Are they the kind of team that will kind of try to identify, say, who's got the quarterback or who's got the pitch back, and then sort of throw different tweaks out to try to knock that guy out and try to bust a big play on that front?
yeah, they're kind of scheme team too. You know, they try to read. They want to make everybody or see who has what. You know, make sure everybody's doing their job. And the biggest thing that we have to do is just focus on what Coach Hoke tells us to do this week, and focus on our assignment, make sure we're aligned right and everything. So,
David.
Isaiah, Sky is probably going to go over 100 tackles on the season in this game. And that's something that hasn't happened around here for almost a decade. Is that a benchmark defensive players shoot for? Is that like a 1,000-yard season for a running back?
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's a big accomplishment. I know, especially for Sky. And, I know he'll get it. He's a hard worker. He always plays hard. He's a great guy to have on the team, and I hope he gets it. So.
And why are the linebackers pile up so many statistics in this scheme? I mean, is that just the way things are designed for things to feed into them?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. We kind of run coverages, kind of sort of in our cover two. Most of the time, teams aren't used to linebackers running down the middle. And, that's where they make out a lot of plays, like get interceptions and stuff like that. So,
Ben.
How much easier does having a guy like Sean Kelly punting make for you guys in terms of just being able to put you in a really favorable position a lot of the time?
It's it's real. It's a blessing to have somebody like him be able to put the ball inside the 20 a lot, because everything's based off field position. So we can keep them starting off inside our 20, then we'll be fine. So he's been doing a great job all season.
Isaiah, you've got kind of a unique view of it on the field. So what's been the problems with pass rush this year? Why haven't you guys been able to generate a consistent pass rush?
I feel like all our players go hard. It's hard to constantly, consistently get back there at the quarterback. The teams we play, they have good offensive linemen. So, looking at film, it's just more effort, I guess, we got to give on our side. So,
Isaiah, where's the motivation come from this week? I mean, the bowl picture looks like you're out of the bowl game. SEC season's over. You're playing a lower level opponent.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the motivation to go out and do your best this week?
Just to try to lead this team as hard as I can. Just to tell them that we're playing for the name on the front and the back of our jersey, and we're playing for this university. You always want to go hard and give your best, and individually you just want to stand out. So I just tell the guys to go hard and just play for the front, name on the front and back of your jersey.
Ben.
How much does this defense ask of you guys as safeties in terms of having sort of diverse roles, playing in the box, occasionally locking up on slots, obviously the deep zone stuff, and is that different than it was in past seasons?
You mean regarding this game?
No,
or it's not really that difficult. We interchange a lot. Both safeties have to know what they do. You have to be able to guard the slots. You have to be able to play halves. Just do your responsibilities as best as you can. So,
Isaiah, with the bowl game off the table, do you guys start looking ahead to the game in 2 weeks? Have you started talking about the rivalry?
It's been going on a lot. We're not really focused on Citadel because we know how good of a team they are. We always got to look at the game that you're playing this week, but no, we're not really worried about the game in 2 weeks right now. We're just focused on Citadel.
Rich.
Isaiah, Along those same lines, with the bowl being off the table, do you anticipate more of the younger guys getting rotated into the action during the game the next 2 weeks just to start looking ahead towards next year and developing guys?
Yeah, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know what coaching staff has planned, so I couldn't answer that one.
Anything else for Isaiah? Thank you, Isaiah.
I want to ask how long it's been there. Principal have something to say to you? Yeah, that's what it is.
Follow.
Yes, unfortunately.
I
may have to talk to our producer.
Okay. I gotta get on the road to Clemson, is why I'm asking.
No, yeah, I understand, you gotta go.
Might have to just do it Thursday.
Yeah. What time, you're just coming right back?
Yeah, I'm doing the game and coming home that night.
Okay.
Do it this afternoon.
Do what?
Do it this afternoon.
That would be fine with me.
I can.
You can, okay. Yeah.
I gotta
Probably do 1:30 in the morning.
This
You got a deadline like Bob Brown or something?
I could. I think we'll go alternate type video for sure.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
People are breaking down the door.
That's kind of where I'm at with that.
I want some thanks, Eddie.
How'd basketball go last night?
I'll true.
This is the first. This is a bigger room. Whoa. How close do I need to be?
Our final player today will be Gamecock punter Sean Kelly. So questions for Sean, please raise your hands. David.
How you guys doing?
Shauna, you've been having a really strong season, but maybe some of the other SEC superlatives aren't talking about you. Do you feel a bit underrated right now?
Not too much. I mean, I'm just really hitting the punts that I'm put in the position for. I thought we've done pretty good about getting about to midfield on offense. So I don't have to really hit anything too far over 50. Usually just put them inside the 20 most of the time. So, people usually don't rave about it unless you're ripping them 50-yard average every game. So, I don't feel too underrated.
Coming into South Carolina, did you envision yourself, having this kind of season and being considered one of the best players on the team at this point?
I didn't see myself coming in and being considered like one of the best players. I definitely saw I chart every punt that I've hit in my whole career. I've got it on an Excel spreadsheet so I could see, if I take out 5 punts from my sophomore season or 6 punts from my freshman season, my average goes up from like 41 to I think it's like 44. So, I could just see, just getting more consistent, I could definitely be a lot better than what I had been.
To the left, Ben.
How important has it been for you to be as consistent as you've been, especially considering sometimes the offense and defense this year consistency hasn't necessarily been a hallmark?
It's definitely been a big goal for me is putting us in the best field position that I can. I know I did have the one last game that was 69 yards, but it went for a touchback. If that one would have sat, that would probably been a lot better for me. But the field position is a big part of the game, and us as a special teams unit, Ard, me and Fry, just winning the field position and winning those 3 points when we get the opportunity is a big deal for us.
You talked about charting the punts. Have you been doing that for a long time, and is there somebody that kind of taught you to do that, or is that something normal that, I know some punters do it, but it's not everybody does it?
Yeah. My dad, that guy, numbers for him, everything's about numbers, growing up, what our budget was going to be, he wanted it written down. This is going to be it. This is going to be it. Turn it into him. I want to see it, for graduating. He wants to see the numbers. He doesn't care about, I'm taking this course. I want to see this is how long it's going to take to this process. So he does a lot with Excel, and he started to show me how to do it, and he keeps a good track of it too. Like after the game, he'll say, "Oh, well, you hit this one, this one, this one, this one. I got it put in. Well, average is this." Like he's already telling me exactly what it is before anybody else after the game. So he's been a big part of saying if you can get rid of this one, if you can get this one better, if you can hit this one here, you'll definitely be going up and just get more consistent.
How old when you started that, and do you know your lifetime punting average?
I think it started probably it really started like freshman year of college. I don't know what my lifetime punting average though is at all. Did a little bit in high school, but not as much.
How often do you recognize on campus and kind of get congratulated?
There's some kids in my classes that I get called for roll, and then I walk in like with a football shirt on or something, and they're like, "Oh, you play football?" Like I've gotten, "Oh, you're on the baseball team, right?" It's like, "No, not on the baseball team." "Oh, cross country team?" "No, I'm 200 pounds. I don't think I really would run cross country. Not too good a shape." to run that far. Someone actually said, Sean Kelly, oh, the golfer. I was like, yeah, no, not at all. Not a big golfer.
To the left, Josh.
I'm intrigued by the Excel spreadsheet too. Are you a finance guy? Is your dad into finance? Are you in finance? Are you a
My
finance
dad
major?
is he was an estimator for big water plants and everything with Garney Construction. So like he does it for like multi-million-dollar plants. He just does it all the way down to the dollar. Like no matter what it is, he wouldn't. I mean, we go out to a construction site and he'll know, okay, that costs this much to be on the site for this long.
Right.
So he's very good with his numbers.
Are you a finance major or an accounting
no,
major
sir.
or anything? No.
No, sir.
Do you get anything out of this data? I mean, is it?
It definitely helps, when I look at it, to see I've hit maybe, I don't know what this year, but if I've hit a certain punt from 30 to 35 yards at a certain spot on the field, to know what was I thinking at that point on the field. Like, am I trying to put this down to the 5? Am I just trying to get it in a better spot? Just if you can eliminate those and move those 30 to 35-yard punts to 40 to 45-yard punts, will the average go from, I don't know what it is right now, but like from 42 to 45. And, are you getting those inside the 20? Are they landing on the 21 instead of on the 10? Just being able to see where I'm struggling on the field, like right hash, the 50-yard line, I've been struggling a lot this year. And so, just being able to see where to get better at and where to work at during practice.
So you chart yard line, the hash mark you're on, anything about the conditions, weather, wind, or anything? Is that
No,
part of
not
the deal?
really. I mean, Coach Robinson does a hit chart for everybody, and I've seen my hit chart before, and it's all over the field just because we want to keep it away from the turner. So being able to see where on the field we are and where I'm hitting it to also helps with knowing how far I'm hitting that.
You mentioned you're not Sean Kelly, the golfer, but that is something that golfers do. Do you chart? Do you kind of graph it too, like where you hit it this hash mark and this hash mark? Is it all just straight numbers?
Oh no, it's the hit chart on the field. Like you'll have it. You'll have a full. If you have a printout of the field itself, you'll have the balls on the 20 right, and you'll have a pretty much a path of where it went and where it landed, for knowing like if they're on the right hash, they're hitting across the field or they're hitting into the boundary pretty much.
Ben.
When it comes to going between conventional punting and rugby punting, is that a situational thing? Is that something you guys discuss on the sidelines, just a play call that comes down?
It's just what's best for getting people downfield. What's best for the condition. If you got a lot of wind in your face, you don't want to try to hit a ball straight up in the air because the wind might just bring it back 20 yards. You might want to get it on the ground, get it biting through that wind on the ground a lot of the times.
To the left, Josh.
It feels like when you're trying to pin somebody deep, it used to be the thing to kick the corner, to kick it out of bounds as close to the goal line as you could get. Now nobody seems to do that anymore. Now it's about getting it up and letting guys cover it. Is there a reason that has changed, that's gone out of favor, that coffin corner kick?
I don't know exactly. Watching like NFL to college guys as I slowly have gotten into being a more consistent punter, is like people drop the nose down and kick it like a rugby style punt, straight up, get the end over end, maybe give you a good like chance of it rolling backwards. If it does go down to like the 2 and the returner is able to draw the coverage away. I think that's a big thing now. That happened at A&M this year where I had to go down it. It hit, I think, on the 9 and bounced all the way back to the 7 just because the way you hit it, it backspins so fast. You don't really want to take the chances of, being accurate and putting it down straight out of bounds. You can say, okay, if I hit it down to the 10-yard line between the hash and the out of bounds mark, if I put this backspin on it, it could sit instead of kicking forward, and you have more of an area to work with.
Kind of staying with that, is there an NFL punter or college, or who kind of taught you, and who do you kind of look up to in regards to punting?
Probably the punter that I really look up to the most is probably Steve Weatherford. I read a lot about him. I'm just because I came from being a quarterback in high school. I worked out a lot, and seeing him, he works out every day. He's big with his nutrition. Just reading a lot about him, I like to learn from other guys too, just like their consistency, their steps. You can read about what they do for mental prep, what they do before practice, but he's probably one of my favorites that I like.
In the back,
punting was going to be your thing? That's what was going
When
to
I
be.
stopped growing at 5'9.5", 5'10", about then I started to realize, everybody's getting recruited at 6 foot and over. I'm probably not gonna have too big of a chance to play.
Anything else for Sean? Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing today? Good? Good. Citadel Week. Citadel Week. Looking forward to having them come in here. Coach Houston's bringing the Citadel Bulldogs in, co-SoCon champs. He's done a remarkable job down there turning that program around and getting them focused and winning again. And he's done a fine job. That staff, I've got some good friends on that staff. They're a well-coached football team. And we've got to go out and play well. You know, this is another opportunity for us to get back in the win column, get some momentum, and carry it over, hopefully. So with that being said, anyone got any questions? Yes, sir.
Sean, looking at defensively, you know what Citadel's going to do. How much of a defensive shift is it to try to just concentrate on the run and not worry about the pass?
Well, it's certainly a big shift. I mean, the triple option is something you've got to go in. You've got to attack it, not during segments, but you've got to focus on it. And then, of course, you got to be ready for the element of surprise and the play action pass off of it. So you can't focus wholeheartedly on the run, but that's a major, major emphasis that we have to stop and contain for us to be successful on Saturday. Back here to Ben.
How much of a process is it preparing your defensive linemen for cut blocks like they're going to see?
Well, hopefully, you know, the last few, I'd say 4 or 5 weeks now, we've been cutting in practice during our Tuesday events and live segments, so they've been getting some looks at it. It won't be quite the same as what we've been doing offensively to them, but, you know, you've got to go through practice. You can't simulate a cut block, meaning with a bag or a dummy or something like that. You've got to really go after it and have a defender diving and throwing themselves through your thighs or through your lower half to get the feel for it. It's a tough way to go out and practice and prepare, but it's the only way you can go out and practice and prepare for this type of offense.
Sean, what's your injury situation with Mason? And I see Camper on the depth chart in a starting position.
Yeah.
You talk about him a little bit too as well?
Yeah, Mason has a high ankle sprain. You know, it's just like any other ankle sprain. It's all about time, and the time will dictate when he comes back. So with that happening, you know, Blake Camper moves into that starting role. You know, Blake's ready to go out there and play. We got to turn him loose. He's been in a backup scenario situation all season long. He's practiced second team reps over and over and over again. He got in there on that touchdown play this past Saturday. So he is very, very anxious to get in there and compete. And let me tell you, he's excited about the opportunity to go out there and play.
With Camper, how quick would your hook be with Matulis being over there ready to play right tackle? Do you go in saying he plays the whole game, or do you just kind of keep an eye on him?
I don't think anyone goes in there at any position saying they're playing the whole game. We'll just have to wait and see. I have a lot of faith in Blake. He's done well in practice, and now the opportunities for him to go out there and play well. We'll certainly evaluate each and every play during the course of the game and see how he's matching up, but I feel sure that he'll go out there and give everything he's got. I know he's that type of person, and he is certainly out there going to prove this week and prepare to play the entire game.
First question, did you know that Sean Kelly keeps a spreadsheet of every punt in college?
You know, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Maybe I'll look over them at some point. He and I'll sit down and pull them out and reflect back on his, you know, angle kicks, his field kicks, and just maybe have a good laugh over it someday.
Now that you hear that, how impressive is that attention to detail and kind of willingness to just keep getting better?
All great players have that. All great players have the attention to detail, you know, whether it's charting punts, charting throws, you know, it could be a center and the snaps based on what particular play he may be zone blocking or pulling or running a power play and blocking back. I think everybody that plays at a really high level has that type of mentality.
Where's the line between a cut block that's appropriate and legal and okay and one that you hear defensive linemen start griping about? Where's that balance?
Well, I mean, I hear defensive linemen gripe about every cut block, so that doesn't ever change. But, you know, the backward chop block or the high-low block is something that you always see thrown during the course of a game, whether, you know, an interior offensive lineman goes low on an ankle and up, and an outside tackle, for instance, comes down and making the high-low block, or the backside. It's I'd have to show you, but a backside, what we call a slip block, where the guard posts up a 3 technique, and then the tackle comes and chops his legs from behind. Those are the types of things that you'll see the defensive line really get upset about. But D linemen, let's all understand this, they don't like being on the ground, and especially being chopped.
Anything from the front, foot to thighs, is fair game, though, right? If you're
Yeah,
coming
as,
straight.
as long as it's one-on-one, it's fair game. Yes, sir.
Would you like to get a look at Connor Mitch and/or Lorenzo Nunez in action for an extended period Saturday, if at all possible?
Well, if all possible, certainly we would. I mean, they've got to be a big part of our program moving forward, and seeing where we can go offensively with either one of them leading us. But we're going to hopefully play the best player that can lead us to a win against the Citadel.
Sean, are you going to give the team a little history lesson on what happened in 1990 when the USC and Citadel played?
That's 25 years ago. We've got a running back coach on staff that was supposed to get the game-winning touchdown run, but ended up blocking for the guy. So, we've mentioned that a little bit, but 25 years ago has been so long. I think you just got to prepare, and you've got to understand how important this game is for the Citadel and us, and we've got to go out there and be mentally strong, disciplined in our mindset to play a very, very well-coached football team and get a win.
How important has Sean Kelly been in terms of being kind of a bastion of consistency on a team where some other elements might not have been necessarily as consistent throughout the season?
Yeah, Sean's been very critical for our entire football team. Field position, he's done some great things. Probably some of the things you guys don't even realize is keeping the ball away from some great returners, whether it's across the field kick, but you can remember Tennessee had one heck of a punt return. There's several other teams that had the same as well, and I think we limited that guy to minimal return yards. I think the guy at Tennessee had a little bit on us, but his cross kicks and his elevation, his timing plays a huge role in our football team's success, and he's done a great job.
Sean, you mentioned that this game's important to y'all too, but from someone looking from the outside might wonder about your motivation. Looks like the bowl game's off the table. It's a non-conference game against a lower division opponent. What's the motivation for South Carolina in this one?
To win. We haven't done that very often this year. Now many times we went out there and celebrated a victory. So any opportunity to go out there and face a football team and get a win is going to feel good at this point, and that's what we're focusing on. I don't think any one of us in our staff or our players have ever said, oh, the bowl game's off the table, or we're looking forward to a bowl game, especially in the situation we have been dealt with this season. We're just looking forward to hopefully going out and playing a complete ball game and making the most of this opportunity.
Sean, don't forget also, Everett dropped 199 yards on you at Appalachian State in 1992.
He did. What
Can
am I
you?
supposed to do about that? I mean,
Well, you were on the defense that day.
yeah, I was. I certainly was. So would you want me to fire him or what? I can do that.
Having been a Southern Conference player yourself, though, and Everett, of course, can you explain a little bit the level of pride that Southern Conference players have when they step up to games like this and wanting to put on a good face?
Well, the Southeastern Conference actually originated from the Southern Conference, don't you? And that's one heck of a conference. And now that a couple teams have moved on from that conference, people think it's kind of taken a back seat in the FCS level, but it hasn't. The Woffords, the Furmans, the Citadels, the Chattanoogas, they've carried the torch. The new team, Mercer, coming on there. It's a great football conference. There are great football players in that league. Let me tell you, the best thing that ever happened to me was leaving Camden, South Carolina, and going playing in the Southern Conference. It's some of the greatest memories and moments I'll ever have. So we know exactly what to expect from this football team coming in. They've got well-coached players, and they're extremely talented athletes, and we've got to go out there, and we better be prepared, or they'll come here and whip our butts.
Has this Citadel team grown and changed what they do through the course of the year, or have they been pretty consistent in their approach?
They're very consistent. Teams like the Citadel, they go in and they do the same. And it's all about what you do defensively that changes kind of what they do offensively or so forth. But they've been steady and very competitive.
And when was the last time you faced a team that broke out the wishbone?
The last time that I faced a team,
that had any kind of wishbone?
would have been Wofford a couple years back, yeah. But the true wishbone that we'll probably see this week is more the Navy style, I think. So.
Sean, with the uncertainty surrounding, the futures around here, how do you and the other coaches approach that? I mean, do you start looking at resumes, picking up the phone call? Just how do you approach these next couple of weeks?
Everything's different with probably each and every coach, but from my standpoint, I've tried to stay as focused as can be. I told my wife on Sunday night, I said, the wins haven't been there, but I've had the time of my life. I've really enjoyed doing this and being the head football coach, the interim head football coach, and I will continue doing that until my time has come to an end or until a decision has been made that maybe I move forward. I can't speak on our other coaching staff. You've seen us play. I think we've been pretty focused and prepared in order to stay in 3 ball games that we had a chance, we felt, to win there at the end. So I think we're right on track. I don't think the focus should be lost in the next 2 weeks or will be lost in the next 2 weeks.
Sean, Sky's probably going to go over 100 tackles in the season in this game, which hasn't happened here in like 9 years. You're a former defensive player. What kind of benchmark number is that for a defensive guy? Is that like a 1,000-yard season for a running back? Is it anything they shoot for?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a huge, huge goal. I mean, I think anybody on a defensive front, if you're a lineman, a linebacker, you put that number out there. It's so hard to get to these days with the spread offenses and the ball running from side to side, sideline to sideline. I think it's certainly a credit to his football play and what type of athlete he is that can cover the field and do the things he does in pass coverage. I mean, he makes plays all over the place, whether it's in the backfield, right sideline, left sideline, or there in the middle of the field, maybe in a coverage setting. So he's done a tremendous job, and it's a huge benchmark for him.
And why do you think the linebackers rack up such tackle numbers here? Is that a byproduct of maybe a lack of a push up front, or is that by design?
Well, I think they're just good football players. I mean, it really is. I mean, at least it's not a safety leading us right there in tackles. That would certainly say we're not doing our jobs from the D-line to the linebackers. But, I think keeping blocks off linebackers, letting them flow freely and make the tackles is a plus coming from our defensive line. But then again, I think Sky Moore is just a good football player and can get to the football.
Speaking of your future plans, have you and Ray had your sit-down meeting yet?
We have not. We have not.
The quote just coming out of the Citadel, Mike Houston says the recruiting budget here is more than his entire operating budget. Did you ever have kind of an aha moment when you came from Appalachian State to here where you really realized a big significant difference like that?
No, the only significant difference really was the 82,000 fans that showed up to our games here in reference to about 30, up there at Appalachian. Programs that compete at a high level, it doesn't matter any level, they're going to make sure they have the resources to be successful. And we were very fortunate up there to have an AD in Charlie Cobb that gave us everything that we needed to be successful. And it was facilities, recruiting budget, you named it, he gave it to us. So there was no real big shock coming from Appalachian State to here.
Sean, will the usual helmets be back this week, and are there any more uniform tweaks on top?
The usual helmets will be back this week, and no changes that I've made plans moving forward. How'd you like the helmets, by the way?
Look good.
Yeah, okay.
From a scout team perspective, offensively, what personnel are running that offense for you this week, and is it anything different? How are they doing?
The personnel, the fastest guy we can have to play quarterback, the toughest, hardest runner that we can have, their B-back or their fullback, and then their two edge guys can be anything from a wide receiver to other tailbacks right there. I was getting on one of our graduate assistants yesterday was running the load option scheme or the arc option, however you want to call it, and he wasn't being very fast at the quarterback position. And so I got on him. I said, you got to understand, this is a split-second decision. I said, when you come out here, whether it's drill work, you've got to wear cleats. We can't have you. We've got raw grass out there, and he was kind of slipping. He said, man, I can't get my traction. I said, well, you wear cleats tomorrow because the decision's got to be made in a split second to get it involved. And our scout team is going to do a good job trying to resemble an offense, certainly like the one they run. But no scout team ever does this system justice.
Who is playing fullback and quarterback on that scout team?
Well, there's several other guys. I mean, we've got anywhere from a couple wide receivers that we have in there playing it. Rivers Beadenball has moved over there and helped us out in the fullback role. Certain situations, you can put your best athlete in there at quarterback, but he may not be able to throw the football. So then you have to switch a guy out. So there'll be some rotation between some guys at the quarterback position. But Rivers has played the fullback position. Mon Denson has played the 2 wings. I mean, there's several guys that are going to contribute over there. Some fast, speedy guys can get on the edge and kind of force our defense to run from sideline to sideline.
Is DJ Neal healthy, ready to go?
DJ has practiced and looked pretty good out there. I went up there and talked to him before practice yesterday. He kind of smiled to me and said, yeah, I'm a little tight, but other than that, my pain is gone, and he's ready to get back on the field.
And looking at Nunez, is he a guy that, you look at a triple option team, is he a guy that could maybe run that system in small doses, maybe over the next 2 games? Would you think about doing that at all?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to get up under center and run the true triple option. Now, you can get in the gun and run triple option with the zone read and throw, bubble scheme. You can do a lot of that kind of stuff with him, which I think he is very well capable of doing it. We've just got to practice him and make sure he's prepared when he goes in that situation, to make sure he takes a deep breath, thinks about exactly what he's got to do, and moves forward. Because we were all in agreement that, hey, let's keep him in the game the last few weeks. Had he been on the same page with us moving forward in the play that was given. But he is certainly capable. He understands the process and what he needs to do to stay on the field, and he's going to try to do it this week and make some changes.
Sean, with the bowl game off the table at this point, is there any more of an emphasis towards trying to develop younger guys in the last 2 games of the year?
I don't think so. Our goal is to win football games, so we need to put out the best possible players that we can to go out there and achieve that. Like I said earlier, Blake Camper's going to get an opportunity to start at right tackle this week. He's a younger guy, but he's in there because of necessity, based on an injury. We do a lot of things on Monday nights with Monday Night Football, where we get these guys, they scrimmage one another and get prepared for future seasons or spring practice. But no, our focus is on winning this game this week against the Citadel, and we're going to play the players that can go out there and get us that win.
One more scout team question. When you try to build that group, do you look for kids who ran option stuff in high school maybe and had some background in that, or not really?
I mean, there's always a thought in the back of your mind, hey, who did this? Rivers Beadenball was at Georgia Southern before he came here, so he had a little bit of that in his system. Now, of course, the offensive line, there's not a whole lot of guys in there that came from the triple option, but it's a veer scheme, which is a down block and getting the second levels and throwing on backers. So they all can pretty much do that, and of course not as well as the Citadel does it, but they've got a knack for doing that. Yes.
Other questions? Phil?
Do you at all spend any time anywhere this week in the office looking at Clemson? Anybody in your staff breaking down any film early, doing anything to prepare in advance?
We always break down film early. That's something we do. Offense and defensive GAs and support personnel are always breaking down film early. I don't think we will pull out a film on Clemson until Sunday afternoon. That's just the way it works. I don't believe in looking ahead. There's certainly no value in that. We've got a football team that's capable of coming in here and playing extremely well and giving us fits, and we've got to have our focus on the Citadel. Like I said, Coach Houston's done an amazing job with this group. They're coming in here to win, so we better be prepared. And if you start looking ahead, you're going to catch yourself off guard, and they're going to come in here, and it's going to be another cock shock, so to speak.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you all.